All of this is happening while the debate over so-called sanctuary cities rages on. And joining us now to talk about this and a lot more is Congresswoman Karen Bass. It's good to have you. Good to see you again.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us this morning. Let's start right out with that particular subject. First
Sure.
of all, what are your thoughts on the caravan? Is this being handled correctly? And some people raise the question, why can't they just stay in Mexico?
Well, I think, first of all, some of the situations are so sad. For people to really think about walking and traveling on a bus all the way from Central America to the border, then life at home must be terrible. But I think that we need to think about how we as the United States can help those countries in Central America. You know, many of the gangs that caused the violence in Central America, those gangs started right here in Los Angeles. When we deported the gang members, we exported the problem. So I think that we should help the countries so that people don't have to make that journey.
But
now that
they've made the journey. Yeah, what do we do?
Well, it is legal for people to come to our border and ask for asylum. So what we need to do is process each individual application. But let me tell you something that really worries me, is one of the practices of our immigration folks now is to separate parents from their children. So, and it's really
well, where do the kids go?
Well, let me tell you, it's to be a deterrent. So there's an example of a woman from the Congo who came through Mexico. She asked for asylum. They took her 7-year-old child away and sent the child to Chicago and put the child in some type of facility. Now there are over 700 children who have been separated from their parents, sent all over the United States. That, to me, is just egregious.
Why the parents are detained?
While the parents are detained, but the children wind up being detained and separated. Now, one issue that I work on is foster care. So I know the trauma of separating parents from children, but the fact that our system would do that as a deterrent and as a punishment to people crossing the border is just a complete abuse of that system.
Well, some people would say just because they're mothers or fathers and have kids, they should know the risk that they're taking when they come here.
Right, and so we should punish them by taking their children away?
No.
I mean, the purpose of the child welfare system is if the child is abused or neglected, not because I want to convince you or other people in your country not to come across the border.
Is there a problem with them settling in Mexico?
Well, there is a problem with them settling in Mexico. The Mexican government has a lot of challenges in how they deal with it. So that is another issue. I mean, we could certainly work with Mexico, too, to help their system. And we are, in fact, doing that. But the real problem is in Central America, and that's where we need to provide the assistance.
Listen, the Congressional Black Caucus does not have the, because this, you know, President Trump has insinuated himself right in the middle of this situation. Congressional Black Caucus doesn't have the best relationship with the president.
That would be true.
Yeah, you guys don't really get along. Is that going to change?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I think it will change if he changes his behavior. But, you know, remember now...
Is there anything the Congressional Black Caucus can do to help?
Well, actually, we did. He asked to meet with us and our leadership, and I'm a part of the leadership. We went over and we did meet with him. And, in fact, what we presented him with was an entire book of policies that the Congressional Black Caucus is interested in. We know that he doesn't understand a lot about the African American community, and so we provided him with information so he would understand the issues. Then we provided him with specific legislative solutions. We asked him to be in contact with members of his cabinet. Silence, crickets, never heard back from them again. And then the way he attacks African Americans, Latinos, you know, when he goes off on one of his rampages, that doesn't do much to help relations.
Well, speaking of relations, you know, he's under fire right now with Mueller, and you sit on the Judiciary Committee.
Yes.
If you guys, the Democrats, win the House in November, are we going to spend much of 2019 on impeachment?
Well, you know, I mean, to be honest with you, there's so many things that we're going to need to do when we do take over, and I'm convinced that the way this is going, I'm not overconfident, but I think we have a very good chance of taking over. We have a lot to do. We need to fix the healthcare system. We need to fix education. One thing that his administration has done through the appointments of his cabinets that essentially go into those agencies and really dismantle and destroy them. We know what's happening with the Environmental Protection Agency. So there's a lot of issues for us to deal with. Impeachment, of course, will be one. Let's see what happens. But I do not believe in any way, shape, or form that when we take over in January, it's going to be, everything is going to focus on impeachment.
Although the president has said he thinks that's what would happen if
Well,
the Democrats.
he has to say that to rally his base.
All right, Representative Bass, of course, we could talk to you for hours.
I know.
'Cause There's so
Good.
much to
I
talk
was
to you
like,
about.
wow, this is
But we
flying
can't.
by.
We're limited.
I'll come back.
But if you want to learn more about the latest events in Washington, D.C., you can actually catch Representative Karen Bass tonight at the Congressional Conversation Series in South Los Angeles, because you are holding sort of a town hall type.
I hold town halls all the time.
Yeah, at the
good, though.
I do.
L.A. City Constituent Service Center. That'll be at 6 o'clock tonight.
6 o'clock this
Representative
evening.
Bass, thanks so much. It's good to see you again.
Thank you for having me on.
And nice to meet you.
Thank you, same
So
here.
much. All right, coming up. What took them so long?
I don't know.
It took them a long time.
Yeah, NSYNC finally